How's it going? I want to say a warm welcome to all my new subscribers. My existing subscribers, I want to thank you so much for keeping the channel going. I appreciate every comment that I get on my channel on some of the videos that I make. I appreciate all your contributions. Yeah, so I wanted to. I do not have much time today. I wanted to. What is this? I wanted to review the UN General Assembly, 74th UN General Assembly each year in September. This occurs, okay, where all the heads of states of all the countries in the world converge, okay. As the name suggests, United Nation, okay. The agenda is a united, global people, okay, and with the promotion of peace and stability, and economic development, throughout, okay, throughout the entire globe, okay, so that every individual, okay, in the world has access to basic, necessities, food, water, shelter, health, clothing, all these things, okay, and main focus on conflict resolution, and also conflict resolution, promotion of peace, okay, and stability in all the regions, and also I think I mentioned economic development, also to tackle the issue of climate change. Okay, so let me know if you can hear me. Okay, let me know if you can hear me. Before I proceed, I am going to share this with my friends on WhatsApp. Okay, get some guys to come in here and join me. This is going to be a very short stream. I'm not going to take too much time because I'll be rushing off somewhere in a minute. So, but I do have some articles to read, albeit. Okay, so let's see. Okay. All right. If you're with me, let me know. Let me know who you are. Okay. Let yourself known. Okay. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe. Okay. Please subscribe. All right. Peace and love. Okay. All right. Richard Victor Dixon, how are you, family? How are you, brother? I haven't seen you in a while. How's your studies? How's your studies? How do you like my new setup? Okay. The African Union flag out there, and the Australian flag. Okay, Aboriginal Australian flag. Okay, representing, the family. Okay, holding it down for the family here in Australia. Pan-Africanism, global unification of everyone of African descent. Okay, this is what we fight for, right? So yeah, let me know how you're doing, family. All right. All right. So let's see. One more person. I'm gonna invite one more person. All right. Okay. So preach, bro. Okay, you here. All right, cool. Now I wanted to I do not have much time, so I'm not gonna review too much, but I'm gonna read some of the articles and then I'll interject. Okay, I'll put in my 2 cents, okay, on some of the articles. But I came across some articles on the UN Assembly, okay, from African News .com. Okay, let me see. So I'm just gonna read the articles. Okay, I'm just gonna read the articles and discuss them as I go along. Okay. So there was also a throwback of Mugabe's final UN speech as a Zimbabwean president. Okay, we know Mugabe recently passed away, so rest in power to one of our greatest Pan-Africanist, okay, African leaders. Okay, we shall remember Mugabe for his good deeds, not his shortfallings, okay, or shortcomings. So he is by far one of the greatest, okay, one of the greatest African leaders to have ever lived. Okay, he took the fight to the European. Okay, he wrestled power from the Europeans and proved to the world that the African is capable of managing his own affairs. Okay, his or her own affairs, and this is what we remember Mugabe for. Okay, Black Power. Okay, Black Power is what we remember Mugabe for. So I'm gonna read an article on that. Okay, his final speech at the UN General Assembly. Okay, and also some news article from Al Jazeera. Okay, which has an elaborate context on the uh, 74th UN summit. Okay, so it's going to take place, or it's taking place in the United States from September 24th to September 30th. Okay, so without much ado, I am going to go straight to the articles. Okay, Richard Dixon, that's what's up, man. My studies are going good. Programming on the Bitcoin blockchain. Still have a lot to learn. Oh boy. Okay, you'll have to educate me on that. All right. Put some videos on your channel so I can check them out. Okay. I mean, I know a lot of people have invested in the Bitcoin. Okay, it seems like it's the future, and the future is here. Okay. Cryptocurrency is the future, and a lot of us are holding back in investing, but we need a bit more convincing to do that. But I'll rather buy solid gold. Okay, I'll rather buy solid gold than um, you know gamble with something on the internet, because once the internet crashes, I mean, you have nothing of substantial value. Okay, but I would rather invest in solid physical gold. Okay, so that's what I am thinking of. But regardless, we see the trend of Bitcoin, and a lot of people are making a lot of money on this. Okay, so I need a bit more convincing, Mr. Richard. Okay, all right. So yeah, also join me on Instagram. Okay, join me on the gram. All right. So let's see. I'll go straight to the African News .com. Okay. Hi Solo, how's it going, family? How's life in the UK? All right. Let me know if you want to join in later, but I do not have much time, so it depends on how quick I go through these articles, but I'm not going to peruse them, so I'll probably be skipping. So yeah. All right. So the African News .com, okay, has an article: UN General Assembly, okay, championing Africa's agenda on the global stage. Okay, so this is what we want. Okay, we want Africa's agenda to be championed on the global stage. Okay, this is what we say, that Africa is rising. Okay, Africa is a giant. Okay, a united Africa is a giant on the world stage. Okay, this is why we promote Pan-Africanism. Okay, this is why we promote Pan-Africanism, and the Agenda 2063, okay, of the African Union is to promote regional integration, basically to form a one united African country, or one united African state. Okay, so which is the African Union. Okay, and the African Union is spearheaded by the UN. Okay, so it's been approved by the UN, and everything is gearing towards a united Africa. We see with the trading blocks on Africa, the East African Confederation, Southern African whatever trading economic union. We see the ECOWAS as well. Everything is moving towards the right direction, and all these entities are preliminaries to a united Africa. So it's all these blocks makes it easy for Africa to merge into one. Okay, so let's see what's so I'm surprised you haven't touched on the new ECOWAS currency for all West African states. I have actually. You should go into the archives. I did. Okay, I did talk on the ECOWAS currency. Okay, so please check out the archives. Okay, I've got a video on that. I think about almost 2 hours of extensive talk on the ECOWAS deal. And also, what is here? Richard Dixon. See what I can do. Start coming into the BAIO site and this Discord. We can chop it up. I used to go in the BAIO site, but I didn't see any interaction there much. So I might have been in the wrong channels, but I feel all alone. Here in Australia. So. Not many Australians are into global matters, but we'll see what we can do, right? So that's my plan as well. I say mixture of cryptos and gold. Okay, cool. Got your family. So Solo again says French-speaking African countries are also debating on dropping French as their national language. Yeah, I mean the official language for the African Union is Swahili. Okay, so we can see from even the music coming through. We're seeing the Afrobeat, which is taking the world by a storm, is broken English, which is not authentic English. It's basically like an African Creole, sort of. And also we're seeing a singer like what's her name, Yemi Adele, okay, she sings in Swahili. Yemi Adele is Nigerian and she's making songs in Swahili. So I mean, this is we are moving towards the right direction. Okay, in terms of unity, despite the xenophobic episode a couple of weeks ago in South Africa. I think Africa is moving in the right direction. The South African president has apologized and sent diplomats throughout Africa to reinstate the unity and the bond South Africa has with the entire continent. So yeah. So Richard Dixon, it's in transition, moving data to new website, but activity is plenty in the Discord. Okay, cool. I'll check it out, family. I'll check it out. I recently caught up on Holicism's recent live stream, and yeah, it was pretty good. Okay, so coming to this article, okay, the UN General Assembly championing Africa's agenda on the global stage. Okay, so here's an image of the assembly in session. Okay, this is by Daniel Mamberi. Okay, 14 hours ago. Okay, every year in September, all 193 members of the United Nations meet at the General Assembly at the organization's headquarters in New York. The General Assembly is one of the 6 main organs of the UN, where several international issues covered by the Charter of the United Nations, such as development, peace, and security, international law, are discussed. Okay. So this year's assembly, which starts on the September 17th, has climate change, universal health coverage, and the politics of sustainable development on the agenda. Sorry, so I said September 24th, but it's actually September 17th. All right, my bad. There will also be meetings on financing for development, elimination of nuclear weapons, and the Sustainable Development Goals, SDGs. Okay, so this is why I say this is bullshit. Okay, elimination of nuclear weapons, okay, is the biggest bullshit. Okay, because the United States, which funds the most of the UN, has nukes. Okay, Russia has nukes. both countries are not going to let down the, put down the nukes. So, I mean, not until we see, both countries get destroyed by, brimstones and fire. It's a prophecy. It's going to happen. Okay, the U.S. and Russia are going to go to war. Okay, currently we're talking about Trump being impeached, and Trump has refused to give Ukraine military assistance. Okay, in defending itself against the aggression of Russia, and Russia wants Ukraine back. Okay, Ukraine is on the coast of the Black Sea. Russia wants access to the Black Sea. Okay, Russia wants to take Ukraine. Okay, okay, Russia wants to take Ukraine. As Ukraine was part of the former Soviet Union, Russia feels that it's a birthright that they own Ukraine. So, it's going to happen. Okay, a few days ago a there was a simulation of a nuclear war between Russia and the United States, and it was very, very scary. What's going to happen? Okay, both countries are going to destroy themselves. We all know this is going to happen. Okay, Babylon is going to burn. It's a prophecy. Okay, but yeah. So I call bullshit on elimination of nuclear weapons. Okay, I call it bullshit, right? So Ghana will occupy the first seat in the hall for this year's session, including in the main committees, followed by all other countries in English alphabetical order. Okay, so more African leaders to address assembly. The following African heads of states are expected to take part in the United Nations general debate on Wednesday. So the general debate was today's Thursday, the 26th of September. So I guess it took place yesterday. So I'm yet to see news on that. Okay, saying that Australia is ahead of the United States. So I'm yet to see what's the development is. So I will probably review that later. So we have the president of Majesty King Mswatini, or Mswati of the third of Kingdom of Mswatini. We have George Menewia of Liberia, Danny Fore of President of Republic of Seychelles, Sheikh Ghazouani, President of Islamic Republic of Mauritania, Alpha Conde, President of Republic of Guinea. Okay, Zambia. We have Namibia. Hage Geingob. Okay, Hage Geingob, one of my favorite presidents of Africa as well, is going to be there. Okay, President of Libya, Mustafa Sarraj, Presidency Council of the Government of National Accord, State of Libya. Okay, I don't know what's happening in Libya now, but there's still civil war still going on. So the President of Ghana, Nana Akufo-Addo. We have Emerson Mnangagwa of Zimbabwe, and Ibrahim Abubakar Keita of Mali. And I think the Nigerian president is there as well. Okay, also the Egyptian president. So going on. Egypt's Sisi asked for help over dam disputes with Ethiopia. Okay, so he decided to present this to the UN. Okay, so this is where North Africa actually needs Sub-Saharan Africa. Okay, because as the climate change is taking effect. Okay, the desert is drying up. I mean, the desert already drying up. North Africa is drying up. Okay, they're going to be a lot of food shortage, a lot of water shortage, and so on and so forth. So North Africa actually depends heavily on Sub-Saharan Africa, and this is why we need that unity. So Egypt, majority of Egypt, if you know Egypt, majority of Egypt, as you can see behind me. Okay, I study Egypt a lot. Okay, majority of Egypt's life relies on the Nile River. Okay, about 90% of Egypt's population live on the Nile. All right, so it is very, very paramount for the Egyptian president to press the matter of the dam that's been built in Ethiopia. It's nearly raised war between Ethiopia and Egypt. Okay, but El-Sisi being one of the greatest leaders Africa has ever produced, made sure that skirmish does not lead to war whatsoever. So it's through negotiations that Egypt continues to receive fair amount of water coming from Ethiopia, and the Nile takes its major source from Ethiopia and Uganda. So basically, everything in Africa is controlled by sub-Saharan Africa. Okay, so yeah, I thought I'll put that there. So Egypt's Sisi asked for help over dam dispute with Ethiopia. Egypt's President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi has raised the matter of the Nile Dam dispute at the United Nations General Assembly, saying negotiations have so far been unfruitful. So Egypt's request was the dam shouldn't be built, but you know, uh, Ethiopia has a much bigger population than Egypt, and electricity and generation of power is highly necessary for Ethiopia. And why not dam the Nile? Why not dam the Blue Nile? Okay, coming out of Ethiopia. So damming the Blue Nile, as I stated before, will reduce the flow of water into the Nile to Egypt. So the master of the Nile is actually Uganda and Ethiopia. All right, even Sudan before Egypt. So you dam the Nile, I mean Egypt will just die out. So I guess what LCC is saying here is that it being unfruitful, meaning that you know Ethiopia should stop building the dam. But we all know this is not going to happen. Okay, Ethiopia needs to build a dam. Okay, Ethiopia needs to build the dam. All right, so Egypt and Ethiopia have failed to agree on operation of the dam that the latter is constructing on the River Nile to generate more than 6,000 megawatts. Okay, and guess what? China is funding this dam. So negotiations over the annual flow of water that should be guaranteed to Egypt and how to manage flows during drought resumed last week, but Sisi's remarks at the UN confirmed that no progress has been made. And by the way, Sisi is the chairperson of the African Union at the moment. So yeah, Ethiopia has said GERD will start power production by the end of 2020 and be fully operational by 2022. The Egyptian leader said he hoped the international community can compel all players in the negotiations to be flexible. Sisi, who is also the current chairperson of the African Union, reiterated the African bloc's call for security reform. Okay. So the general debate begins. So the general debate session kicks off Tuesday with several heads of state line up to speak. So, this year's theme for the debate is galvanizing multilateral efforts for poverty eradication, okay, quality education, climate action, and inclusion. Okay, so in line with the priorities set by the President of the General Assembly, Professor Tijani Mohammed Bande, Nigeria's permanent representative to the United Nations. So voluntary 15-minute time limit for statements is to be observed in the general debate. Okay, so since the 10th session of the General Assembly in 1955, Brazil has always been the first member state to speak in the general debate, followed by the United States of America as the host country. Other members then follow. Based on the level of representation, presence, and other criteria such as geographic balance. Okay. African heads of state scheduled to speak. Okay, you can go through that. I'll leave the article in the description box. You can check it out. So, African president set for General Assembly. Africans heads of state, including Zimbabwe's Emmerson Mnangagwa, Egypt's Abdel Fattah el-Sisi, Senegal's Macky Sall, Democratic Republic of Congo's Felix Tshisekedi are already in New York for the General Assembly. All right, so we see some tweets here. Okay, so yeah, there's president of Senegal. Okay, some tweets coming through. Le chef de la tête prend pas en marge de la. I can't remember that now. I'm trying to read my French. Okay. So South Africa's president Cyril Ramaphosa will be one of the notable absentees. Okay, I'm surprised why he's not there, having opted to deal with pressing domestic issues back home. Okay, that's BS. Okay, that's BS. All right, South Africa, shame on you, right? Shame on you, South Africa. All right, so we look forward to the robust discussion on the various multilateral engagements, which are scheduled to take place over the next few days at the 74th United Nations General Assembly. So, Nigerian elected president, Nigeria's permanent representative to the United Nations, Ambassador Tijani Mohamed Bande, was this week elected president of the 74th General Assembly. So yeah, for the first time, the president of the General Assembly is an African. Yeah. The United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres commended the Nigerian scholar and diplomat for prioritizing peace and security, poverty eradication, zero hunger, quality education, climate action, and inclusion. And I am very, very surprised they did not want to tackle corruption. I believe corruption is one of the biggest factors to play in all these issues happening here on the planet, especially when it comes to Africa. Okay, the corruption, especially in Nigeria. Okay, the corruption alone. Okay, these issues should be tackled in the UN. Okay, these foreign Western governments shouldn't be given access to their countries to African leaders who steal a lot of wealth and resources from their country. Okay, okay, and go blow it in the Western countries. This should not happen. Okay, so corruption should have been one of the key points here. Okay, and I'm very appalled that corruption was not a factor here. All right. He also brings valuable insight into some of the pressing peace and security, human rights, and sustainable development challenges facing this body, from the spread of violent extremism to the threat of global climate crisis, Guterres said. I also applaud your emphasis on human rights and gender parity, he added. In his inaugural address as General Assembly President, Professor Mohammed Bande said he would collaborate and coordinate with the Security Council and the Secretariat to ensure the greater attention is paid to prevention rather than reaction to full-blown conflict. All right. Also, I will also advocate for effective early detection and warning systems, as well as mediation, negotiation, and peaceful settlement of ongoing conflicts, he promised. So the recent emergencies in the Bahamas. Okay, so I'm very happy. African presidents, African leaders are aware of the situation in the Bahamas, because I thought no African country wanted to talk about the issue in Bahamas, and it's not very good for Pan-Africanism. All right, so I am very happy this was brought up. Okay. With global warming increasing, okay, these storms are going to get worse as we speak right now. There's another hurricane, Karen or whatever it's called, threatening Puerto Rico, and looks like it might head to Jamaica and stuff like that. So these things are going to get worse, okay, as the climate warms up. It's going to get worse, right? So this is the time Africa reaches out to the Caribbeans and people of African descent to, be aware that they have a second home in Africa. So, yeah. Okay, so moving forward. Okay. So the recent emergencies in the Bahamas, Mozambique, and Sahel region, among others, reminds us the urgency of strengthening global action to tackle climate change, he argued. Okay, so all these problems can be solved. Okay, global climate change can be solved. The desert in Africa, Sahara Desert, can be transformed into into green, pasture, because we know the desert was created by these goat herders and sheep herders in the north, overgrazing and stuff like that. So when they start planting trees, we all know that the trees themselves are going to generate clouds and attract rain. And so, uh, planting trees can change a whole lot. Uh, as opposed to the Brazilian president Bolsonaro, who is hell bent on, cutting the forest for development and stuff like that. He's a lunatic, right? Right. Okay. So also the UN hosted the world's best teacher, who is actually a Kenyan. So the world's best teacher, who hails from Kenya, Peter Tabichi, is set to address the 74th United Nations General Assembly, which brings together world leaders from the organization's 193 members. Tabichi, who won the 2019 Global Teacher Prize in March this year, is a member of the Saint Franciscan Friars, okay, a religious order founded by Saint Francis of Assisi in the 13th century. Okay, this to me, this is nothing more than the promotion of you know, the Roman Catholic Church and the agenda of the Roman Catholic Church. Okay, it's nothing more than that. Okay, why can't he just be a teacher, a normal teacher, educating kids? Why does he have to have a religious affiliation? Okay, we all know what religion has done to Africa. We do not need these kind of things. Okay, so yeah, I do not have any respect for this person right now. All right. So meeting Trump on Tuesday, the White House press secretary Stephanie Grisham shared a picture on Twitter showing that Tabichi had met with U.S. President Donald Trump. Okay, so I'll blow this up if you can see this picture. What the hell is this? Okay, so this is a picture of Mr. Tabichi here. Okay, this is a picture of Tabichi. Look at him looking silly, right? This is a silly look when you have an African dressed up like this. Okay, this is very silly. I mean, come on. This is cooning on a highest level. All right. So I do not respect any African in this regard. All right. Why can't you be in your kente cloth? Why can't you be in your Maasai cloth? Why do you have to wear this on the national stage? You are a slave. All right. So yeah, no respect from me there. Okay, no respect. So Peter, you inspire us all. Thank you for your commitment to your students. Stephanie tweeted, Tabichi, who won the 1 million Best Teacher Prize, teaches science at Keriko Mixed Day Secondary School at Pointe Village in Njoro, Nakuru County. So I'm very surprised. Why wouldn't he represent his people? Why wouldn't he represent his Maasai people and wear his Maasai regalia? Why is he wearing a European outfit? Okay, a European outfit. Why are you wearing this? Okay, you were a slave at this point, Mr. Tabichi, and I do not respect you, right? So, and then there's a prayer here. I'm not going to read that prayer. So yeah, I'm done with this article, right? So let me know in the chat, what do you think of this article? Okay, what do you think of the article from African News? We've seen the African presidents now taking world stage. It's going to boost their morale. It's going to boost the the independence. Okay, as African heads of states. And strength. African head of states need to know the strength they have. As Africa's population is 1.2 billion people currently, and projected to be about over 2 billion people, by 2100. It's huge. Okay, this is the time our heads of states need to develop great confidence. Okay, and unite, and uplift the continent, right? And people like me are always going to keep promoting, Pan-Africanism and the agenda of the African Union and stuff like that. So we see where that leads us. All right, so I'm going to share the next article. I'm going to share this next article, which is talking about Mugabe. Okay, it's a really short one. right, so share the screen. Throwback to Mugabe's final UN speech as Zimbabwean president. Okay. So this is going to be my next article. Okay, let's see if it's up there. All right, so it's up there. So so again, throwback to Mugabe's final UN speech as Zimbabwe president. So in loving memory of one of the greatest African leaders. Okay, the last of the Pan-African leaders. Okay, the founding fathers of the freedom of Africa. Okay, all hail to former President Mugabe. Okay, Robert Mugabe. May he rest in power. All right, and inspire the younger generations to fight for the liberation of Africa, you know, and continue to push the agenda of Africa. Okay, Africa first, right? Okay. If Africa is all right, everyone will be all right. This is what it is, right? We don't need to go elsewhere, you know, to seek fortunes and greener pastures. Okay. Everything we need is in Africa, and we need to manage our own affairs, right? We need to end the exploitation of Africa. Okay. And this is what the UN General Assembly is all about. Okay. And Africa's participation. Okay. So so this article is by Abdul Rahman Alfan Shaban, okay, also from africanews.com. Former Zimbabwean President Robert Gabriel Mugabe made news at 2017 edition of the United Nations General Assembly, UNGA. Mugabe was first spotted dozing, okay, so he's a president who is well known for dozing as Trump delivered his address. Okay, so you know, basically saw Trump as a boring person, and we all know the trouble that Trump is in at the moment. Okay, facing impeachment. Okay, Trump is facing impeachment currently. So yeah, but are they going to impeach him? I doubt it. Okay, they're not going to impeach him. Okay, they're not going to impeach him. White supremacy is crumbling. White supremacy is imploding. Okay, and this is what we want. Okay, this is what we want. All right. When it was his turn to speak, Mugabe attacked U.S. President Donald Trump on a number of. Sorry about that. When it was time for him to speak, Mugabe attacked U.S. President. So attacked in quotes. Okay. U.S. President Donald Trump on a number of issues. He dubbed Trump the giant gold Goliath, okay, and urged him to pursue peace. Some of us were embarrassed, if not frightened, by what appeared to be so this is Mugabe quoting, okay, some of us were embarrassed, if not frightened, by what appeared to be the return of the biblical giant gold Goliath. We having the return of Goliath to our midst, who is threatening the extinction of other countries, he said. May I say today, the President of the United States, Mr. Donald Trump, please blow your trumpet in a musical way towards the values of unity, peace, cooperation, togetherness, dialogue, which we have always stood for, and which is the Charter of the United Nations. He added, and we all know Trump is like opposite to this. Okay, Trump is a backlash. Okay, complete backlash. The non-agenarian, okay, the non-agenarian who at the time was due to contest elections in a ticket of the ruling ZANU-PF, left his 72nd session, most likely hoping to be back for the 73rd, but obviously he couldn't make it because he's been impeached and you know, he passed away. Okay, but it took barely 2 months after his return for any hopes of returning to New York for the UNGA to fizzle away. A military-backed takeover forced Mugabe to resign his position at the time. The parliament was set to impeach him after days of of a standoff. So one of his vice presidents who he fired over disloyalty, Emerson Mnangagwa, returned from brief exile to take over as president. He has since seen out Mugabe's term and won his first 5-year mandate in disputed July 30 polls. Okay. He is leading the Zimbabwean delegation currently in New York. All right, so there's so much controversy on Zimbabwe's presidency and stuff like that, but I thought I'll share this article with you in memory of Mugabe. Okay, his last UN speech. Okay, basically, you know, urging Donald Trump to promote peace than war. And we know when Donald Trump took office, he wanted to go to war and realized that he's surrounded by a whole bunch of warmongers and people that would, people that mean him, bad. Okay, and which led to the firing of uh, uh, the recent or the ex security advisor to Donald Trump was named John Bolton. Okay, led to his firing because John Bolton was all about war and invading Iran and stuff like that. And with all the issues regarding the security in Saudi Arabia with the bombing of the the petroleum facilities in Saudi Arabia, I mean, it's just begging for war. Okay, the Middle East is begging for war right now, and we need Donald Trump to exercise patience and not just go to war. And it could be a strategy if Donald Trump is pushed to the wall, he could go to war. Okay, and going to war, okay, will ensure that he remains in power for at least the duration of the war. Okay, so we are in a very, very dire, predicament at the moment. But we hope there's no war in the Middle East against between Saudi Arabia and Iran. Okay, yeah. But saying this, okay, petrol prices are rising. Okay, petrol costs for a liter, okay, is a dollar 71 cents. Okay, and that's that's the highest I've ever seen it here in Melbourne, Australia. Okay, $1.71 per liter. So that's very, very expensive. Okay, almost $2 a liter. Okay, so my next car should be an electric car. All right, so I mean, we all can come together to change or avert the situation or the events that are happening in the world. Okay, we when we talk about climate change and pollution, we need to, as a people, we need to all come together and reject the use of plastics. Okay, so do not buy anything that is being kept in plastics. Do not buy anything. So we need to stop purchasing things that are sold in plastic. So and also little things like that, clean up our neighborhood and preventing plastic from entering our oceans and stuff like that. We can individually we can do things like that. Okay, so to the final article. Okay, this an Al Jazeera sort of like a review on the or latest updates on the 74th UN General Assembly. Okay, and also to add on to the uh, the climate change. Okay, these capitalists don't really care. They're all about making their money. Okay, they're all about making their money. So if we stop patronizing their products, okay, which is being kept in plastics, okay, these businesses are going to go out of business or they're going to be forced, okay, to change their strategy. The same passion we have for veganism and stuff like that. Okay, we can send the same energy towards saving our planet. Okay, because if we lose our planet, okay, we're not going to get food at all. Okay, uh, in if the current predictions stay true, okay, food is going to be one of the most expensive items in the near future. Okay, food is going to be as as costly as gold. Okay, as gold. So yeah, there's going to be a lot of wars fought over food and stuff like that. So it's very very important that as we pay a lot of attention to veganism and healthy living and stuff like that, we should direct the same energy, if not more, towards averting climate change and promoting a sustainable environment for everybody, right? Everybody. All right, so I'm gonna share the next article. Okay, and then my last 15 minutes, I will open the line and anybody can jump in. Okay, anybody can jump in. So this article is from Al Jazeera, UN General Assembly 2019, all the latest updates. Okay, US Al Jazeera. So UN General Assembly 2019, all the latest updates. Okay, so this from 6 hours ago. Okay, Al Jazeera, all the latest updates as world leaders gather in New York for the 74th session of the United Nations General Assembly. Okay, so let me pull this up a little bit. Okay, cool. So world leaders have gathered in New York City for the 74th session of the United Nations General Assembly. The meeting comes amid simmering tension in the Middle East over recent attacks on Saudi Arabia or Saudi Arabian oil facilities, which the United States blames on Iran allegations. Tehran denies. Okay. We know the Iran and Saudi Arabia have been fighting proxy wars. We know this. Okay, all fingers are pointing at Iran at this stage. Okay, Saudi Arabia is bombing Yemen rebels. Okay, and because Saudi Arabia wants to take over Yemen, right? But Saudi Arabia wants to take over Yemen, so that's why the problem is there in Yemen, and of course, Iran is backing the Yemen rebels. Okay, and as the United States is backing Saudi Arabia, all because of the oil facilities in Saudi Arabia. So we see this tension happening, and it's just politics. Okay, politics. Okay, is leading to the demise of everybody or the everyday person. So it's very very important we pay attention to politics. Okay, and voting the right leaders to lead us. Okay, so UNGA also comes just days after millions of young activists and their supporters marched in thousands of cities worldwide to demand greater action on climate change. And this happened here in Australia too. I mean, the young people in Australia overall say that climate change is the most important thing for them at the moment. So, which is true, because if we lose the climate, okay, we have no future, and the children have no future. Okay, so the general debate is taking place from September 24th to September 30th. Okay, so that's what I was saying before, with dozens of world leaders scheduled to address the General Assembly. So Wednesday, September 25th. Okay, Trump says he puts no pressure on Zelensky to act on Biden. Okay, so this is Trump's issue with Ukraine. Okay, which a lot of people would say that is going to lead to his impeachment, but Trump has done several things that will lead to his impeachment, and this is not it. Okay, this will not be it. All right, this will not be it. Okay, we know Trump is refusing to send military aid to Ukraine, okay, to fight the Russians, and Trump is refusing war, with Russia. So we see this, okay, this is not going to happen. Okay, Trump is not going to be impeached over this. Okay, so Nancy Pelosi, okay, is talking in vain. All right. Trump speaks during the bilateral meeting with Zelensky on the sidelines of the 74th session of the United Nations General Assembly in New York City. Okay. Asked about the July telephone call, Zelensky said it was a good phone call and normal, and that he and Trump discussed many things. Zelensky added, "Nobody pushed me." Okay, so I mean, voluntarily, everything that Zelensky did, okay, he could say, I mean, his words here, "Nobody pushed me." So it's not an unimpeachable offense at all. Okay, So Nancy Pelosi, please take your seat. Okay, Trump is not gonna be impeached. All right. So Colombia's GK blast Venezuela's Maduro. Okay. So Colombia will give the UN dossier of the conclusive proof of Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro support for terrorist groups. President Ivan Duque said in his speech to the organization's General Assembly. Okay, the government has irrefutable and conclusive proof that corroborates the support of the dictatorship of the criminal and narco-terrorist groups that operate in Venezuela to try and attack Colombia. Duque told the assembled world leaders in New York, holding up a copy of the dossier. Okay, this dossier of 128 pages contains the evidence that shows the complicity of the regime of Nicolas Maduro with the terrorist cartels that attack the Colombian people, he said. Okay, so GK said he would turn over the evidence to the president of the assembly and the UN Secretary General. So we all know the president of the assembly is the African Mohamed Banda, okay, who is an African. Okay, so I don't know if they're gonna really respect his views, but I hope his stands firm. Okay, stands firm. Okay, and this is when Africa. This is a chance for Africa to push its agenda through the president of the union. So yeah. So the first time the whole world need to respect the African, all right, in power. So World Health Organization chief, Ebola outbreak on retreat. Okay, so we know that an African doctor has an African doctor has discovered the cure of Ebola. Okay, so I'll read a little bit of that. The World Health Organization chief said the second deadliest Ebola outbreak in history is on the retreat, but he warned that any attack by the many armed groups in Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo (DRC) could affect health workers' hard-won gains. Okay, so blah blah blah. Tedros Adhanom Ghebreyesus told reporters at UN headquarters that it's not a good idea to predict an end to the outbreak that had killed nearly 2,000 people since August of last year. So US Japan announced a bilateral trade agreement. This is nothing new. Okay, it's always been happening. Okay, so I'll skip that. There's the United United States president with Japanese president Shinzo Abe. Okay, so yeah, 7.7 billion US agricultural products and Japanese tariffs will now be significantly lower. Okay, so Trump meets Venezuelan opposition. Okay, I'll leave the article in the description box. You can check it out. I'll jump on to more important ones to me. So Rouhani, Iran's response to talks under sanctions is no. Okay, so Iran is refusing to talk to Donald Trump. Okay, if it's still being sanctioned. Okay, and the issue is all around the Saudi Arabian attack. Okay, which is by the Houthi rebels from Yemen, but then all fingers are pointing at Iran. So you can check out the article itself. Okay. So Lebanon's own appeals for safe return of Syrian refugees. Okay, so we know that Syrian refugees have, about 3 million of them have poured into Europe. Australia has taken a lot of them as well. Australia promised to take about 20,000 Syrian refugees. So all these people need to go back to their countries. Okay, all the refugees need to go back to their countries and help build those countries up. All right. So Iraq will not be a field for proxy wars, says president. So the president of Iraq has said that Iraq is not going to be, a proxy, a designated proxy war position because it's between Saudi Arabia and Iran. Okay, so all these wars are being fought in in Iraq, and this is what the Iraqi President Bahram Ahmed Saleh saying. Okay, so yeah, he called the recent attacks on Saudi Arabia's oil facilities a dangerous development. Saleh bemoaned that Iraq has long been unstable but struck a positive note, saying his country was emerging from years of conflict and looking toward economic development. And Iraq needs to solve their water problems because Turkey is damming the Euphrates and the Tigris. Okay, Euphrates. So Iraq is running with no water currently. So Saudi Arabia in consultation on next steps after attack. Okay, so read that. Saudi Arabia is in consultation with friends and allies about the next steps to take after an attack on September 14th on the world's biggest crude oil processing facility. So that was a major hit. The world's biggest crude oil processing facility, but is waiting for the findings of an investigation. Saudi Arabia's Minister of State for Foreign Affairs, Adel Al-Jubeir, told reporters the UN sent people to be part of the investigation. Other countries have sent experts to be part of the investigation. So when the team is investigating, so when the team that's investigating has concluded its investigations, we will make announcements publicly. So we know that the UN was sent into Iraq to investigate Assad, not Assad, Saddam Hussein for having weapons of mass destruction or chemical weapons. Okay, and they came out saying no, there was no weapons of mass destruction. The UN was sent to Syria as well to investigate if Saddam Hussein has moved the chemical weapons into Syria. The UN came back and said no. So obviously the UN is going to say no, okay, because they're not gonna they do not want to escalate the problems in the Middle East. They're going to say no, even if they find any evidence, it's going to skew the evidence. Okay, this is what I see here. Nobody wants war in the Middle East. Okay, between Saudi Arabia and Iran, it's going to be a very, very bloody war, which could spill into Africa. Okay, because Africa is next door, right? So no mention of Trump in Zelensky's address. Okay, which is good. I'm not gonna read that. Okay, so my mate Niger boy. Okay, your country, Ukraine. Okay, this is where they're at the moment. So Iran nuclear deal signatories meet to discuss future. Okay, I think the Rouhani, okay, of Iran, saying that okay, the UN cannot call for a ban on nuclear weapons when they have, United States has nuclear weapons and Russia has nukes. Okay, so I mean they're gonna have nukes as well. Everybody's gonna arm themselves with nukes, right? So it is the only solution to a nuclear apocalypse is everyone arming themselves with nukes. Okay, and yeah, to hell with everyone. Okay, basically. So yeah, if the United States agrees to abandon their nuclear programs and dismantle their nuclear facilities, okay, everybody else will do the same. But as long as the United States has nuclear capabilities, everyone else would want nuclear capabilities. Okay, so everyone is on equal par, right? So zero possibility of Rouhani Trump meeting. So we know it's not going to happen. Okay, you can't sanction me and want to meet with me. Okay, it's not going to happen. Speaker scheduled what to expect after busy day. Day one, day two is upon us. Okay, so I'm yet to get news on that. Okay, so when I get that news, I'll review that later. Okay, so Tuesday, September 24th. Okay, also Britain's PM dodges Brexit in the UNGA speech. Okay, and we know that the deadline for the Brexit is next month. Okay, I don't know what's going to happen next. Okay, so Japan's PM wants to meet. So what was this? Solo, if you want to come on later and talk about the Brexit, the developments on the Brexit situation, I know they're having they haven't come to an agreement. So if you want to come on later, I'll share the link and you can jump on, right? So leaders paid tribute to Gandhi on 150th anniversary of birth. So nobody made mention of Zimbabwean president passing away, but they remembered racist Gandhi. Okay, they remembered racist Gandhi who thinks he's better than his people. He and his people are better than Africans, right? This is Gandhi. They want to remember Gandhi. Okay, to hell with Gandhi, right? So Luxembourg PM says everyone must challenge hate speech. Okay, which is common sense really. UK's Johnson calls on Iran to release jailed nationals. Okay, that might not happen. Okay. US leads China. I mean, these people, if you want, because this is a British Iranian, okay, you do something against Britain, they're gonna disown you. Britain is gonna disown you. They will deport you back to where you come from. But now they what are they talking about? Okay, Iran has rights to this person because this person is Iranian. Okay, if you breach the laws of your country, okay, you're meant to be detained. Okay, so Britain has no say here. All right, Britain has no say here. So U.S. leads China condemnation of a horrific repression in Xinjiang. So again, the article will be in the description box. You can check it out. Macron says conditions in place for Trump-Rouhani talks, and I don't think that's going to happen. Okay, Macron meets Iran's Rouhani after seeing Trump. Okay. Pakistan mediating with Iran after Trump request, PM Khan says. Okay. Macron urges Iran, US to pursue negotiations. It's going to be unlikely. Okay. Same thing. Donald Trump wants to meet with the Taliban's. Okay, it's really funny. It's not going to happen, right? Merkel wants U.S.-Iran talks, but does not see sanctions lifted first. I mean, this is bullshit. Okay, lift the sanctions. Okay, give these people economic freedom. Okay, and then talk. Okay, you cannot be sitting on my neck and then wants to talk to me. It's not going to happen. Okay, you can't get your foot, you can't keep your foot on my neck and still want to talk to me. It's not gonna happen, right? It's foolish. So yeah, I won't even bother reading that now. Seoul calls for peace zone between Koreas. Okay, so the Korea has a demilitarized zone. Okay, and I don't know what he's calling for now, but it is there. Okay, there's no military activity happening on the border. Okay, of South Korea, North Korea. So Venezuela defends Cuba ties after Trump's speech. Okay, I'm not gonna read that. Okay, Trump is a bigot, so whatever he says, it doesn't matter. Okay, Qatar's Emir slams Israeli occupation. Okay, it's something we need to bring up. Okay, so this article I wanted to share. Okay, Turkey is on top of Israel at the moment, and we all know that the United States made the biggest mistake ever. Okay, giving Turkey nukes. Okay, so the UN gave the US gave Turkey nukes. Okay, and Turkey can invade Israel. All right. So the sentiment here of the president of Turkey, Erdogan, okay, is resounding. Okay, and he came up with a map of Israel from 1947. Okay, Israel, there was no Israel; it was just dotted cities and towns. Okay, and forward into 1947, again, Israel occupied Palestinian territory, and forward into 1967. Israel had taken majority of Palestinian territories, and current day in 2017, 2019, okay, the Palestinian state is non-existent. Okay, so I'll read this. Okay, Qatar's Emir Sheikh Tamim bin Hamad Al Thani denounced a continuation of the Israeli occupation of the Palestinian territories and the Arab territories in general. The ensuing unlawful practices and in particular expansion of the settlements, Judaization of the city of Jerusalem, unjust and strangling blockade of the Gaza Strip, and intensification of settlement activities in Syrian Golan Heights are happening in overt defiance to the UN and its resolutions. Okay, so Sheikh Tamim told UN General Assembly he went on to call for a permanent peace based on justice, including the establishment of the Palestinian state on the borders of 1967, with Israel, with East Jerusalem as its capital, and the end of Israeli occupation of all occupied lands or Arab lands. So, so they want Palestine to go back to, or Israel to go back to that. But I would say that Israel should not exist at all. Okay, Israel should not exist at all. Okay, it's Palestine. Okay, what Israel is doing is occupation. Okay, it's occupation, right? So the country is Palestine, right? Not Israel. So Sheikh Tamim's comments came after Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan earlier criticized Israel's treatment of Palestinians. So yeah, the whole world needs to see this. Okay, okay. Take a look at that map, right? How Israel systematically occupied Palestine. So 1947, 1947, 1949 to 1967, this map here, and current, this is current, the current map. Okay. So Emir of Qatar calls for stability in the Gulf. Okay. And nuclear power should be free for all or banned, Erdogan says. Okay. So Erdogan has a power to say this because he's got nukes as well. Okay. Erdogan's got nukes. Okay. So Turkey, Nigerian condemn Islamophobia. Okay, so I think I'll read that. Presidents of Turkey and Nigeria have condemned Islamophobia in their address. Okay, Turkish leader Recep Tayyip Erdogan said hate speech was a disease turning into a raging insanity. Okay. Meanwhile, Muhammadu Buhari highlighted the growing threat of hatred towards Muslims, citing the Christchurch mosque attacks earlier this year. And I'm very surprised, or well, I'm not too surprised, because he came out and spoke, painfully about the Christchurch attacks when it happened, and he vowed that he would retaliate. Okay, and we don't know what that means, but he's brought it up again at the UN. So he is very, very bitter, and I think he has a plan up his sleeves. Okay. So Erdogan issues reminder over Syria. Okay, so I'm not. Erdogan, nuclear power should be free for all. Read that. Okay. Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan told the UN General Assembly on the nuclear power assembly, nuclear power should either be free for all states or banned completely. He also warned that the inequality between states which have nuclear power and those which do not undermines global balance. Okay, global balances. The position of nuclear power should either be forbidden for all or permissible for everyone, Erdogan said. Okay, so LCC Libya needs to be saved from chaos. So I'll read that as well as African-centered. Okay, I'll read that. So Egyptian President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi said a concerted effort was needed to stop armed groups taking control of Libya and to prevent external actors from intervening there. El-Sisi said, we know that Saudi Arabia is funding some of the rebels in Libya. Okay. Saudi Arabia is funding the rebels in Libya. Okay, so El-Sisi said in his UNGA speech that the oil-producing North African state needed to be saved from the ensuing chaos by militias and preventing the intervention of external actors in Libya's internal affairs. So, i.e., the United States, Britain, France. Okay, they need to back off. So Egypt is a supporter of Libyan Eastern Commander Khalifa Haftar, whose Libyan National Army (LNA) has been trying to take the capital Tripoli from forces allied with the internationally recognized government of national accord. I mean, shouldn't the government be chosen by the people, the Libyan people? Why should the international government choose a government for Libya? I mean, so Trump slams Iran's bloodlust. Okay, so. So US President Donald Trump called on nations around the world to tighten the economic news around Iran, saying no country should support Tehran's bloodlust. Okay, and we know Iran is in, opposing force to the United States agenda in the Middle East. Okay, so Iran is a power balance in the Middle East. Okay, so they're just gonna, anybody who is against the agenda in the Middle East is their enemy, and they're gonna demonize you, right? So the regime's record death and destruction is well known to us. Not only is Iran the world's #1 state sponsor of terrorism, but Iran's leaders are fueling the tragic wars in both Syria and Yemen. And at the same time, the regime is squandering the nation's wealth and future in a fanatical quest for nuclear power. Okay, this is all bullshit. Okay, Donald Trump, all this is bullshit. Okay, the war in Syria, we all know was started by the United States. Okay, the United States started a war in Syria. Okay, so what Iran is doing is preventing the war from spilling into its country. Okay, this is what Iran is doing. What is the US doing? Supporting rebels and terrorists. So I mean, like pot calling the kettle black. Okay, so Trump attacks policies, open border activists as well as evil. Okay, I'm not going to go into that. We all know Trump is a bigot. Okay, he's a xenophobic idiot. China's trade practices unfair. Trump says it's not fair. Okay, as soon as these people start losing the stronghold on world's economy, they're gonna be crying foul. Okay, it's not unfair. Okay, Trump future belongs to patriots, not globalists. Yeah, I agree. I agree on that. Okay, well, we know Trump is also a puppet for the globalists. So yeah. Fallacy to say Amazon is the heritage of humankind. Bolsonaro. This guy's an idiot. Okay, I'm not going to even read anything about him. He's an idiot. Okay, Bolsonaro. Okay, is an idiot. Jair Bolsonaro is an idiot. Okay, the Amazon belongs to everybody, not Brazil. Okay, he's an idiot. Trump's to say U.S. does not seek conflict. That's not true. Okay, U.S. is always seeking conflict. Okay, they always wishing people push the buttons. Okay, I'm not even going to read that. That's bullshit. Okay, so UN chief warns of world splitting into two. Okay, so there is a looming risk of the world splitting into two, with two largest economies, the United States and China, creating rival internet currencies, financial rules, and their own zero-sum geopolitical and military strategies. Okay, so yeah, and so on and so on and so on. I really wanted to read about the climate change. Okay, more fuel to the flames. Climate change advocates shun UN inaction. Okay, as climate action summit wrapped up at the United Nations in New York City on Monday, environmental activists almost universally concluded that not enough had been done to stop global warming and stem the climate crisis. Okay, so France, Germany, Britain leaders say Iran behind Saudi attack. Yeah, they came for investigation and said Iran, but yeah, we know it's bullshit, right? Trump's top Iran advisor presses for action against Iran, and so on and so on. So all these things being discussed, okay, at the UN General Assembly. Okay, all right. Okay, so I've already gone through. There's a Greta Thunberg to the UN climate. You stole my dreams. Okay, so you have come to us, young people, for hope. How dare you? You have stolen my childhood with empty words. Yet I am one of the lucky ones. People are suffering. People are dying. All you can talk about is money and fairy tales of eternal economic growth. For more than 30 years, the science has been crystal clear. So this is Greta Thunberg's remarks. Okay. Okay. UN climate summit, a moment of truth. Okay, we all know the global warming. Okay, which the Donald Trump calls the global warming is a hoax. Okay, climate change is a hoax, and he's pulled out of the Paris Accord. Okay, and this is the most stupid thing to ever do. All right, so on Friday, September 20th, no planet B, millions take to streets in global climate strike. Okay, so students across the world, okay, protesting, kids protesting against climate change. Right. So, all right. So I am done here. Okay, I am done here. All right. I have, I think I have touched on, and you know, there's recent news development. Policy U.S. House will start formal impeachment inquiry of Trump. So it's only an inquiry, okay? It's only an inquiry, and it's gonna be, futile, okay? It's not gonna lead to much at all, okay? They can't impeach Donald Trump, okay? So Nancy Pelosi, okay, sit somewhere, please, okay? We love Donald Trump. We love Donald Trump in power, okay? He's causing white supremacy to implode, okay? We want the United States, to fall. Okay, Babylon will burn. Okay, this is what we want, right? Not until they stop colonizing. Okay, not until Europe stop colonizing. Okay, we want all these nations to burn. All right, so that the global African will be liberated. All right, so yeah, Black Power, boom. All right, so I have concluded my articles. Okay. Anybody here who is interested in coming on to chime in? I'm gonna put the, let's see. All right, so if you're interested in coming on, okay, please jump on. Okay. Let's see. Okay. I do not think anybody is watching at the moment, but yeah. I wish somebody would come on and chime in a bit, but nobody's here at the moment. So I am going to end the stream. Okay. I want to appreciate everyone for coming on. Okay. Thank you all for supporting the channel. If you're new to this channel, please subscribe. Okay. Subscribe to the channel and help the channel grow. Okay. If you like this type of edification, okay. Subscribe. Okay. Subscribe, support the channel, share my news stories. Okay. Share my stories, and yeah, help the channel grow. I need 1,000 subscribers by November. So I have basically a month and a bit, to make my 1,000 subscribers. So help Chivdrano grow. Okay, help Chivdrano grow, so I can bring you live events happening across Melbourne. All right. So yeah, as always, okay, Pan-Africanism is the future of Africa. Okay, the global unification of everyone of African descent. Okay, this is why we do this. Okay. So yeah, follow Chidrano on Instagram. Okay. You go into Instagram, search Chidrano, and follow me on Instagram. Okay. There you can send me all your messages and whatnot. All right. All right, family. I think I'm done here. Okay. There's nobody here at the moment, so I will end my stream here today, the 26th of September 2019. Okay, I appreciate all of you for coming through. Thank you, Richard, Victor, Dixon. Thank you for coming through, family. Solo, thank you for joining. Okay, I was hoping you'd come on, brother, but you know where. Yeah. So, and everybody else that was part of the stream, thank you all. Okay, I appreciate it. Okay, okay, one Africa. Okay, one Africa. All right, peace, peace, family. Peace. Peace, family. Peace.